Welcome to Crosstalk Solutions. My name's Chris, and today we're going to take a look at some of the switches available from TP-Link. TP-Link has dozens of different managed and unmanaged switches, ranging from small, super cost-effective models all the way up to multi-10 gigabit SFP plus switches. Bottom line is that their full range of switches can cover all of your home and business needs. There's way too many switches to talk about all of them, so in this video, I'm just going to be picking out some of my own personal favorite TP-Link switch models and discussing their features and use cases. But first, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to Crosstalk Solutions for 2 to 3 brand new tech videos every single week. When we're talking about TP-Link switches, we can break them into 3 main categories. Their smart managed switches are devices that have both an onboard GUI as well as the ability to be centrally managed. TP-Link has their software, hardware, or cloud-based Omada SDN controller. The second category are the easy smart switches. So these are switches that do have a web GUI for local management of the device, but they aren't able to connect out to the central Omada controller. Finally, there are unmanaged switches that just do switching. They're literally completely plug and play. They don't have a GUI management interface at all. You just buy them and put them into your network and they start switching packets. Starting off with the Omada capable smart managed switches, my first picks are the 8 and 16 port 10 gigabit SFP plus switches. I have the 8 port version sitting right here. These switches have massive amounts of switching power and are meant to be used for backbone fiber connectivity to other switches, or for 10 gig connected servers as well as NAS devices. The 16 SFP plus port model, the TL-SX3016F, has dual redundant power supplies, layer 2 plus features such as ACLs and static routing, as well as a 320 gigabit switching capacity. MSRP on the 16 port model is $499.99. This one is the smaller 8 port model. It has an MSRP of $229.99, features 8 10 gig SFP plus ports, as well as the same layer 2 plus capabilities, and 160 gigabit switching capacity. My next pick is this switch right here. This is the TL-SG3010X-HP-M2. That's quite a mouthful, but this switch features 8 2.5 gigabit PoE plus Ethernet ports, as well as 2 10 gig SFP plus uplink ports. Perfect for fanning out from your 10 gigabit switches into multi 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connectivity for your devices. Not only can this switch provide 2.5 gigabit connectivity to your client devices, but it can also power up your 2.5 gigabit connected access points, such as the EAP660HD. This switch has a total power budget of 240 watts and an MSRP of $399.99. Before we go too far down my list of TP-Link switch picks, let's talk about their model numbers. Now, there is definitely a method to the madness. So take a look at this graphic that I'm going to put on the screen here. This lays everything out. It actually makes pretty good sense once you understand how they come up with these switch model names. Going from left to right, TL means TP-Link, the S stands for switch, and the next letter is the speed. F for fast Ethernet, G for gigabit or 2.5 gigabit, and then X for 10 gigabit. The next number is the switching capability of the switch. A 1 means it's an unmanaged switch, 2 stands for layer 2, and 3 stands for, well, I bet you can guess. That's right, it stands for layer 2 plus. So in other words, it's not quite full layer 3 switching, but it does have some layer 3 switching features added. TP-Link specifically describes the L2 plus as higher performance, some miscellaneous ISP features such as S-Flow and OAM monitoring capabilities, static routing, access control lists, and they support management of the switch via a console port. The next 2 numbers in the model number are the number of uplink ports, as well as the total number of ports in the switch. And then finally, there are any other descriptors such as the physical form factor or the type of PoE being used. So for instance, let's take a look at the TL-SG3010X-HP-M2. The model number breaks down to TP-Link switch with gigabit switching, right? So TL-SG. The 3 means it has layer 2 plus features. We've got 2 uplink ports, 10 ports total. The X stands for 10 gigabit uplink speeds, and the HP stands for high power PoE capability. Finally, the M2 at the end designates that the ports are 2.5 gigabit. Next, let's take a look at what I would consider to be a very standard and versatile switch for any business. That's the TL-SX3016F. This switch has 24 gigabit Ethernet ports, as well as 4 1 gigabit SFP ports. With an MSRP of $465.99, this is going to be a really standard switch for most business environments. Each of the 24 Ethernet ports features 802.3 AF and AT PoE Plus capability with a total power budget of 384 watts. Now, if you're looking for a 24 port switch that can basically handle everything that you're going to throw at it, this is the one that you want. If you don't need a full 24 ports, but you still want to infuse some PoE into your network, take a look at the TL-SG2010MP, which comes with 8 gigabit PoE Plus ports and 2 gigabit SFP uplink ports. This switch is going to be perfect for when you've got a location with a small handful of PoE devices to power up, such as phones, surveillance cameras, or access points. The SG2010MP has an MSRP of $239.99. Finally, in our Omada capable switch picks, we have the super cost-effective TL-SG1008P coming in at just $89.99. This switch has 4 gigabit Ethernet ports and another 4 gigabit Ethernet ports that have PoE Plus power capability. This is exactly the kind of switch that I would have on my desk to provide Ethernet to my computer and my printer, other devices, but also have 4 ports of PoE Plus that I can use to power up any device that needs power. All right, moving into the easy smart switches. Remember, these are the ones that aren't Omada capable, but they do have an onboard GUI. We have the TL-SG1016PE. This is a great little 16-port desktop form factor switch for your home or small business network closet. It provides 16 total gigabit Ethernet ports, of which 8 of them are PoE Plus capable. It has a total power budget of 110 watts and comes in at just $229 MSRP. Shifting over now to the unmanaged switch category. These are great because they're super cost effective. They're also completely plug and play. They don't have any configuration GUI at all. You just plug them in where you need them and they start switching. My favorite TP-Link unmanaged switch is this 5-port 2.5 gigabit desktop switch. It definitely comes in handy for adding 2.5 gigabit connectivity to parts of your office that need it. Like for instance, if you had a set of cubicles with 4 2.5 gigabit capable PCs, you can tie all those together for just $169 MSRP. I should also mention that TP-Link has both 8-port and 5-port 10 gigabit Ethernet unmanaged switches, right? So just like this unmanaged 2.5 gigabit switch, their unmanaged 10 gig Ethernet switches are perfect for tying together your 10 gig devices, right? So if you need a small 10 gig unmanaged switch for connecting together like your 10 gig NAS with your 8K television and your brand new Apple Mac Studio, which has a 10 gig Ethernet connector on board, well, there you go. You got the 8-port TL-SX1008, which is about $433, and then you've got the 5-port TL-SX105, that's $337 MSRP. Now let's get to the super cost effective, right? So coming in at just under $50 is the TL-SF1008P. This is an unmanaged switch that has 8 total fast Ethernet ports, of which 4 of them provide PoE. So it's the kind of switch that's perfect for areas where you have a few PoE devices, but you don't need gigabit speeds. Like I would put this switch in my garage, right, where I have to power up a couple of exterior cameras, I want to power up an access point, but it doesn't need like super fast gigabit connectivity, it just needs to get the job done. And for like $49, you can't beat it. Finally, I have to include one of my favorite little utility switches of all time. Coming in at less than $20 is the TL-SG108. Now, I've had one of these switches in my gear bag for years. They're absolutely perfect if you need a quick, unmanaged gigabit switch for whatever, right? So like if a customer has a switch go out, it's a quick replacement. If you have a temporary area that you need to provide connectivity to, super easy, right? So I just keep one of these on hand, and if I use it somewhere, I just buy another one, right? I have a spare with me at all times, especially when I'm visiting customer sites. All right, so there you have it, some of my own personal favorite TP-Link switch models. There are just a ton of them to choose from. These are my favorites. Do you guys have your own favorites? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Crosstalk Solutions for 2 to 3 brand new tech videos every single week. All right, my name is Chris, and we will see you guys in the next video.